you need to generate $100 an hour to meet your expenses and pay yourself as a business owner, and you're only charging 90, no matter how hard you work, you will never hit your goal. And it's one of the things, the very, very, very first things that we look at when we have women join any of our mentorship programs. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Female Empowered Podcast. I'm super excited. I'm your host, Krista Gurka, and today I'm talking about one of my favorite topics, pricing. Woohoo! Dun, 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 dun. So pricing, we talk about it all the time, how to price your services. And one of the things that we see so often in our industry is businesses that are setting their pricing to be comparable to other people in the market rather than to meet their expenses, rather than according to their expenses, their capacity, and their profitability. All right. Which is not anyone's fault. That's what you think you do. Oh, if Jane down the street is selling it for $10, I should sell it for $9.99. Right. That's what they do in The Price is Right. Right. They undercut the other person so they can win. So anyways, but here's the thing. If you need to generate $100 an hour to meet your expenses and pay yourself as a business owner, and you're only charging 90, no matter how hard you work, you will never hit your goal. And it's one of the things, the very, very, very first things that we look at when we have women join any of our mentorship programs, or even if I do one-on-one coaching with people in mentorship, when we look at their numbers, we show women whether, yes, you have the ability to have a great, healthy profit margin here, or you're going to have to work 50 hours a week or see 50 clients or teach 50 classes or have 50 patients in order to reach your revenue goal, or to even just break even and meet your expenses. And I don't know about you, but I'm not in business to break even. For that, I'll go work for somebody else. Okay. So today, what we're going to talk about is how to, one, evaluate your pricing, objectively know that this is the pricing model that's going to work for you, base whether you need to raise your prices on profitability so you can decide if you're going to raise prices or not, how to communicate a price update with your clients and your staff, and then how you can respond to, one, the visceral reaction a lot of us have to raising prices, and two, maybe clients that complain. And I will tell you, from having done this with hundreds of businesses and even done it in my own business over the last 15 years, is that what we anticipate or what we fear very rarely happens. Okay. So we fear that people are going to, be upset or complain. And most of the time, nobody says boo about it. Nobody complains, and let's just say, for even numbers sake, you charge $100 and you're going to raise it to $110. Okay. So you're going to raise it 10%. So $10, let's say you have 10 clients that pay you $100 and you're going to raise it to 110. Okay. Law of averages says that one client might not be able to go up $10, which doesn't really, if they're paying $110, usually isn't that big of a deal. But even if you lose one client, price increase of $10 makes up for that with the other 9 clients you keep. And then you get a new client at 110. All right. So this is also going to be an episode. I'm going to do some math on my whiteboard here. So if you have the opportunity to watch this on YouTube, when we go to the math part, visit my YouTube channel, Krista Gurka, because you'll get to see the numbers and the formulas that we use. Okay, so all right, so let's talk one about why small businesses, why boutique fitness brands need to raise prices. Okay, let's talk first about the reasons you need to raise your prices from time to time, even more than once a year. There are times that we raise prices 2 and 3 times a year. There's times that we don't raise prices for 18 months, but it's all based on our actual numbers. So some of the reasons small businesses need to raise prices. Number one, our rent goes up every year. Our lease goes up at least 3% every year for most businesses. Some it's 5%. Okay. So you at least have to make up for that increase in your expense, or your profit's going to suffer. Okay. That's number one. Number two is things cost more. So since 2020, I mean, my utility bill, my electric bill has tripled. All right. Pricing, shipping on equipment, on wipes, on like what we need in the studio has gone up. If you offer health insurance to your team, that's gone up. General liability insurance, that's gone up. Okay. So we need to raise prices to meet the increase in price that we are spending on things that we need for the business to run. That's number two. Number three, our staff and our team deserve raises. We, as a business owner, deserve a raise. Okay. Cost of living goes up. So at the very least, I'm not a big believer that you have to give raises every year, but if your team is working hard and they're meeting your expectations or exceeding your expectations, giving at least a price of living increase helps. And we all know inflation's been high, right? Being able to give out bonuses, being able to offer more things. So if you have to buy new equipment, if you have to update your equipment, if you have to get your equipment serviced, if you're sending your therapist to get a dry needling certification or getting them Pilates trained, all of those things cost money, in which case results in us needing to raise prices. Okay. And then the last reason is just because we want to, and it's time. And it's okay if you want to give yourself a raise and increase the profitability of your business. It's okay. All right. However, I say that we shouldn't do this willy-nilly. We should be very objective about it. And so some of the very, very specific reasons too, that in 2024, we might see some increases in the boutique fitness industry and the boutique wellness industry is because most of us are investing in advanced technologies like AI, because personalized fitness experiences, and more like immersive, holistic workouts are very on trend. Okay. So being able to use AI, whether that be through wearables, whether that be through auto-generated workout plan, auto-generated workout plans, all of that stuff, automations, CRMs to be able to automate things as much as possible, that costs money. Okay. So there will probably be a trend in that direction, especially in 2024. Now, the biggest trend, according to several different industries, according to Mariana Tech, according to Trainerize, according to the Wellness Creative Company, okay? Holistic wellness and longevity is the top trend for 2024 in boutique wellness and fitness, okay? Being able to incorporate improved sleep, nutritional guidance, comprehensive workout plans, mental health services, recovery, sauna, cold plunge, ice, red light therapy. That's the biggest trend. All of the people are predicting this to be the hottest trend in 2024. So investing in those services could cost money, but they could also generate more revenue for you as a business. Now, we already talked about increase in operational costs, right? So that is a reason we will see increasing in pricing in our industry. Also, more demand from millennials and Gen Z. These younger generations are very tech savvy and they understand this part of the market. And they're also as the older population starts to like phase out, the younger generation is coming in droves. All right. So catering to their preference for technology, being able to schedule online. People don't want to talk to somebody, unique class offerings. This is also ways that it's going to drive up pricing. Right. So being able to differentiate ourselves from other businesses that are in our competitive market costs money at times. Okay. So those are all the reasons that we're going to be seeing a trend towards increased pricing in boutique fitness. Now, one of the things I can tell you is that boutique fitness is set to grow 8 to 10% year over year for the next 10 years. We are back up on a resurgence in growing, specifically reformer Pilates. Reformer Pilates is one of the biggest trends for 2024. It's one, small class sizes. People are really looking for community. It's not something you can do at home because most people don't have a reformer at home. So Pilates and longevity, recovery, rejuvenation services are the biggest trend for 2024. So if you're already doing that, kudos to you, and lean into this in 2024. So what we talk about when we look at how to determine what kind of price increase is going to benefit your bottom line the most, because like anything else, so the same way I say how we do an exercise or how we program a Pilates class, why we choose certain rehab exercises for our patients, or how we program a yoga class, it's intentional. There should be a method, a progression or regression, or a reason why you're putting this exercise in this part of the program. Okay. Or why you're doing, hip hinge with a patient, et cetera, et cetera. It should be intentional. So when we're talking about pricing, it should be intentional as well. And this is the biggest thing we work on. Well, one of the biggest things we work on with all the women in our mentorship program. So when you're trying to, one of the things you want to do is understand what your profit margin is off of each and every sale. Okay. So we want to shoot for ideally, a gross profit margin of 70% to the business. So what does that mean? That means if I charge $100 for a Pilates session or a physical therapy session, the business keeps 70 and 30 goes to the practitioner if they are an employee. Now, there is some wiggle room in that, right? And the reason we say 30%, some people might be like, well, 30% seems low, especially if you are an employer. Like, well, why do I only get 30%? Well, here's the thing. It's 30% to you directly, but the cost of employing you is actually higher than that. So we as a business give the practitioner 30-ish%. Sometimes it's 35, sometimes it's 28. It really just depends on what your business model is. But I then pay 7.5% of the taxes. Okay. So that's another 7. So that goes from 30 to 37.5%. Okay. Then payroll taxes on top of that. Then if we're providing health insurance, which I do, paid time off, et cetera. So now we're talking the cost to the business of employing this person, it gets you closer to over 40%. Okay. So that's just the cost of the employee. Now, with the rest of the 55% or 50%, I have to pay a portion of the rent, the administrative team that supports the practitioners, the marketing, the equipment, the taxes, okay, credit card fees. There's so much that goes into that other percentage. So it's really why it's important to understand your numbers. Okay. So we have all of these spreadsheets available to the women that are in our inner circle, the Beyond the Movement inner circle, which, by the way, if you're listening, like when this goes live in January, enrollment for the inner circle is currently open. We have all of these spreadsheets that we use to help women determine how they should raise prices, whether it's raising prices by $1 is going to affect their bottom line, or getting 5 more clients in is going to affect their bottom line better. Okay. So what you want to do to determine is you want to determine your profit margin. Okay. You want to know what your new profit margin is. Okay. So if you are running like right now at a let's say a 50% profit margin, gross profit margin. Okay, that's different than net. So if you want to get from a 50% profit margin to a 60% profit margin, okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to figure out what your new pricing needs to be. So how are you going to do that? Okay. So you're going to take your new price. Okay. So you're going to take the new price and you are going to, let's do this. Let me take a sip of coffee. Okay. So where I'm going to use green for money. So this is where, if you'd like, I mean, you can listen obviously, but if you'd like to go to YouTube and see this calculation, you can do that too. Okay. So let me raise my desk up. Okay, here we go. So suppose, let me see if I raise my mic. So suppose you're charging, let's just say $50 for a class, which is expensive, but okay. Your current price is $50. You want to raise your price to $70. Okay. So let's say you're going to raise it to $70 now. Okay. So how do you figure out what the profit margin is for that? Okay. So you say 70 minus 50, okay, times 100, okay? So you're going to get a profit margin 20%. Sorry, divided by 70 times 100, which is 28%. Okay? So you do 70, sorry, minus 50. So you do new price minus old price divided by new price. And that's how you get your profit margin. Then you multiply by 100. So this would be 28.7%. Okay. So if you want to work towards a 40% profit margin, okay, or a 60% profit margin, this is really no bueno. I'll tell you, no bueno. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the new price. So to find out the new price, you're going to say it costs you $50 to you pay your instructor $50. Okay. And you want your new profit margin to be 60%. So you're going to divide that, okay, by 1 minus 0.6, okay, which equals, let me do my math. I don't know that off the top of my head. Let's see. So you would have to charge 125. Okay. So I made a mess up here, so I'm going to erase it and do it again. But here's what we're going to do. Sorry for the delay. And I'm holding my mic here so that my voice doesn't trail off. So say right now it costs you, okay, you pay your instructors $50 for a private. Okay, you pay out $50. Okay. And you want to have a profit margin of 70%, which is what we try to have. Let's just even say 65%. Okay. You want to have a profit margin of 65% to have a healthy profit margin so you can afford to run the business properly. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 50, excuse me, divided by 1 minus 0.65. Okay. So we're going to do that. Okay. So 50 divided by 1 minus 0.65 is 142. That's what you're going to need to charge if you're paying somebody $50 in order to have a 65% profit margin. Okay, so if we look at that, we do minus 50 divided by 142 equals a 65% profit margin. Okay, so say you have you do classes, you don't do private. So if you want your instructors to make $150 or $50 per class, you need to generate $142 in revenue. So what does that mean? You have to have, if you're charging $25, you need to basically get 6 people in a class. If you're charging $30, all right, you can do the math on that one, hopefully. But again, this is why it's important to objectively raise your prices, to really objectively understand what is going to happen to your business and your bottom line. So doing market analysis to understand where do you want to sit in the market? So this is where we can look at our competitors' pricing. Do we want to compete on price? I'm going to say that if you're in the boutique fitness industry, no, you do not want to compete on price. Okay. Do you want to sit at the top of the tier? Do you want to sit in the middle of the tier? Do you want to be a commodity? What is your customers' perception of value that you are providing? Do you have full-time administrators? Well, guess what? That's a value add to places that don't have a front desk or don't have an administrator. Do you have really nice updated equipment? Do you have locker rooms? Do you have showers? Do you have all of this stuff? You have to understand the pricing, the value that you're adding, that you are providing your customers. What about price elasticity? Like, how sensitive are your customers to pricing changes? Now, once you decide what you're going to do in terms of pricing, it's really important to communicate that effectively. And it doesn't have to be a ton of communication. It doesn't have to be crazy stuff. I like to term it updates. I don't say pricing increases. I usually say studio updates, policy updates, procedure updates, pricing updates. Okay. And so what I'm going to do for you now is I am going to give you a couple. So you can pause this, you can record it. I'm just going to basically read you some of the email communications that we give to our clients that we use when we have pricing updates, and we share with our Beyond the Movement members if they're going to be doing pricing updates. So one, I think it's really important to do personalized email communication, sending out well-crafted emails. The email really should be clear, concise, and short. Okay. You can highlight the reasons you're doing increases or updates. You don't necessarily have to. I don't think, the electric company doesn't give me a reason why they're updating my prices. Okay. Include details. It's important to include details about when it's going to take place. If you're going to be grandfathering anybody in, always acknowledge their loyalty, thank them. You can call out that, pricing updates are difficult for everyone. We're so happy for the community that we have. And also just give them the opportunity to reach out if they have questions. Okay. In-person announcements, you can make in-person announcements. You can host a Q&A session if you want. I really don't recommend that because the questions are always going to be stuff that you don't necessarily need to answer. But you can have a sign up in the studio. I know that we put signs in the studio that just say studio and pricing updates effective January, whatever, or February, whatever. I have the salon that I go to. They have a little sign oftentimes right in front of the chair, the mirror that you sit in, that says, so-and-so's rates will be updated as of February 12th. See the front desk for more information. So they're letting us know Okay. And we do the same thing. We usually send out an email communication. All right. We usually send out an email. It's short, sweet, and concise. So I'm going to now give you some of our email copy right now that you can steal, use, obviously make it your own, but you're more than welcome to use this. So one of the emails we send out is usually the subject line is exciting news and studio updates. All right. And it says, I hope this email finds you in great spirits. I'm excited to share some fantastic updates and enhancements at enter your studio name, Pilates in the Grove, et cetera, et cetera. Our commitment to providing you with the best experience is taking a leap forward. Effective, enter your date. We'll be updating our pricing to reflect the added value we're bringing to your fitness journey. We're confident these changes will elevate your workout experience and bring even more joy to attending sessions at Pilates in the Grove. We appreciate your understanding and continued support. As a token of our gratitude, we're offering a special, mention any discount, like current members can purchase an additional package until this date, or et cetera, prior to the new rates taking effect. Thank you for being a part of our family. If you have any questions or would like to discuss these changes, feel free to reach out. We're here for you. And then we usually check out the updates here, and we have a PDF or a link to our website page that has all of the updates. Okay. Here's another example. The subject line is enhancing your wellness experience, important updates coming soon. Great news from Pilates in the Grove. We're on a mission to make your experience even more amazing. Our team has been working hard to enhance our facilities and offerings, and we're thrilled to share these improvements with you. This is a great one we've had a couple businesses in our programs do a rebrand and a new build out. So this is a great time to use this kind of email sequence. To support these exciting developments and improvements, we'll be implementing new pricing effective enter your date. These changes are essential for us to continue providing top-notch services, including you can enter, new locker rooms, updated equipment, new classes, our team, et cetera, et cetera. We value your loyalty and want to assure you that our focus remains on delivering exceptional value and quality. To show our appreciation, we're offering an exclusive deal for our beloved members, and then enter the deal. Like they have an extra month at their current pricing. They can buy additional packages at their current pricing. And then continue. Your health and happiness are our top priority, and we're committed to making Pilates in the Grove the best place for your fitness needs. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you for being with us on this exciting journey. Here's to more gains, more goals, and more great times at Pilates in the Grove. All right. So those are a couple just examples of how you can put it in email communication. You can create auto emails that go out, and it doesn't have to be, long and drawn out. So you can, and then post them on your website. And again, sometimes people raise prices a couple times a year, right? It's okay to do that. I mean, we should raise prices based on the needs of the business in order for the business to remain financially solvent, to remain profitable, so that you keep the high quality staff on your team. You can pay yourself as a business owner the wage that you would expect if you were working for someone else. You can continue to grow and innovate. You can help more clients. All of those things cost money. So raising prices allows you to bring your business, to bring your healing, your movement method, whatever that is, to a larger audience, right? So you can have more impact on your community, on your family, on your team's family, on your clients' families and communities, right? So it's the way to pay it forward. You can become a philanthropic organization. We gave over $5,000, I think it was close to 10 last year, to charitable organizations. Since inception in 2010, we've donated over $50,000 to charities and organizations in direct cash. That doesn't include in-kind services like doing events and all of that stuff. But it's something that I'm proud of as a business owner, and it's how I create a purpose-driven business to give back to the community in which we're in. All right. So anyways, this was it was a little longer than some of my other episodes, not terribly longer, but I think it's really, really, really important that you get your pricing model right. It might take a little while to adjust. It might take a little while for you to get some market analysis. But it is important that you at least have a plan of action for how you're going to get to the pricing model that is going to build you a profitable and sustainable business. All right. Start thinking like a business owner. And business owners think about pricing and profit. If you have any questions, I'd love for you to shoot me a DM over on Instagram. I'm at Krista Gurka. And if you are a business that is generating over $250,000 in annual revenue and you are ready to get the kind of systems and structure and strategy and deep dive into your numbers the way that we do in the Inner Circle, there may be, I know that we had 3 openings available at the beginning of January. I'm not sure if they're filled or not, but if you're interested, you can apply by visiting www.kristagurka.com/mentorship. And applications are now open either until the 3 spots are filled or the end of January. And that's when registration will close until July of 2024. The other thing is that I created a little pricing template for you. So I created a little template for all of you to be able to plug in some of your numbers and see where you need to be in order to be profitable and in order to break even. And you can grab that by visiting www.kristagurka.com/pricing template. And you can go ahead and grab this template and plug in some of your numbers and see where you're at in terms of pricing. So once again, that free template is www.kristagurka.com/pricing template. All right. That's all I have for you today, ladies. As always, I'm so happy that you joined me. And until next time, bye for now.